What's an excuse to call off work that a boss can't argue with? I was in the middle of a team meeting when my smartwatch started buzzing like crazy. Heart rate alert, 180 beats per minute. My vision blurred and the room started spinning. I gripped the conference table, trying to steady myself. My manager noticed immediately. "You okay?" I nodded, but my chest felt like someone was standing on it. "I'm fine, just need some air." Before I could stand, everything went black. I woke up on the office floor, surrounded by panicked coworkers. Someone had already called 911. The paramedics arrived within minutes, checking my vitals and asking questions I could barely answer. "We need to take him in now. Possible cardiac event." My manager followed us out, her face pale. "Take all the time you need. Don't worry about work." At the hospital, they ran every test imaginable. EKG, blood work, chest x-rays. The cardiologist finally came in with results. "You had a severe arrhythmia episode. Your heart rate spiked to dangerous levels. We need to keep you for observation and run more tests. Could have been fatal if you'd been driving or alone." I spent 2 days in that hospital bed, hooked up to machines that beeped constantly. My phone kept lighting up with messages from colleagues asking if I was okay. But there was one message that stood out. From my manager. "HR needs documentation for your absence. Company policy." I stared at that text for a long time. I'd collapsed in front of the entire team. Paramedics had wheeled me out on a stretcher, and they needed documentation. When I was finally discharged, the doctor handed me a thick envelope. "Your records, test results, and a note for your employer. You'll need at least 2 weeks off for recovery and follow-up appointments. No stress, no long hours. Your heart needs rest." I returned to the office the next week for a quick stop. Not to work, just to drop something off. My manager was in her office with the HR director. They both looked up as I entered. "Glad you're okay," my manager said, though her smile seemed forced. "Do you have the medical documentation?" I placed the envelope on her desk. "Hospital records, EKG results, cardiologist notes, everything you need." She opened it, skimming through pages of medical jargon and test results. The HR director leaned over, reading along. "This is quite thorough." "Yes, it is. I collapsed during a meeting in front of 20 witnesses." "Did you really think I was faking a cardiac episode?" My manager's face reddened. "We have to follow protocol." "Protocol?" I repeated the word slowly. "I nearly died on your conference room floor and you're worried about protocol." The HR director shifted uncomfortably. "We're just doing our jobs." So was I when my heart decided to malfunction. But here's what bothers me. I've watched people call in sick with hangovers and nobody asks for proof. I have a medical emergency in front of the entire team and suddenly you need documentation. My manager set down the papers. That's not fair. What's not fair is treating employees like liars when they have legitimate emergencies. What's not fair is making someone who just got out of the hospital jump through hoops to prove they were actually sick. The office had gone quiet. People were pretending not to listen, but everyone heard every word. The HR director cleared her throat. "Perhaps we should discuss this privately." "No, I'm done with private discussions that go nowhere. You want documentation? There it is. 20 pages of proof that I almost died. Feel free to call the hospital if you don't believe the cardiologist's signature." I turned to leave, then stopped. "By the way, my lawyer suggested I keep copies of everything, just in case the company tries to claim this was somehow my fault or use it against me later." My manager stood up quickly. "Nobody's doing that. We're just following procedure." "Then maybe your procedures need to change, because right now, they're telling employees that even a medical emergency isn't enough to be trusted." 2 months later, I got an email. "Company-wide policy update. Medical emergencies witnessed by management or co